For outsiders, Cape Town can appear to be a symbol of post-apartheid South Africa. The coastal city is promoted as a top destination for its diversity of food, landscapes, and cultures. But for Black South Africans, life in Cape Town is steeped in the lasting legacy of apartheid, the system of white minority rule that has left the country's Black majority poor and powerless. Though apartheid was officially terminated in 1994, throughout South Africa, neighborhoods remain structurally segregated, and the vast majority of Black citizens remain locked in grinding poverty. I'm going to show you how Cape Town was designed to keep racial groups separated, and how those divisions persist today. Cape Town's layout provides a striking example of the clear socioeconomic divisions between South Africans. I'm standing in a township that reflects the living conditions of most Black Cape Townians. Poor and under-resourced, without access to running water, sewage, or even electricity. Just next to it is a white suburb that's worlds apart. And there's no easier way to see this than with a drone. From above, you can see the state of the bustling Black township I'm standing in, called Imazama Yetu. It's a barren, informal settlement made up mostly of shacks and government-built homes. Literally next to the township is a white suburb that's overflowing with greenery. So here's what life looks like for most white Cape Townians. Nice suburban homes with running water, protected by walls and alarm systems. Some even have signs specifically warning Black Africans in their language of Xhosa of dogs inside. And the disparity isn't just black and white. Here's the colored township of Manenberg to the left, and the informal Black settlement of Nyanga to the right. Unlike Black townships, the ghettos of colored people are made up of small homes rather than shacks, and have basic services like running water. Before we go any further, I should break down how racial groups are classified here. Colored is a centuries-old community of diverse heritage that might be called Creole in the US or Caribbean. They're distinguished from Africans, who are the city's Xhosa-speaking Black population. While Africans are the vast majority in most of South Africa, in Cape Town, coloreds are the largest group. Africans are a close second. Whites are only 15%, followed by Asians and others. The segregation we see from above is the legacy of an apartheid system that was instituted by South Africa's National Party and lasted from 1948 to 1994. Apartheid further expanded the policies of white domination and racial segregation that were already in place since the colonial era. Under the 1950 Group Areas Act, the government created racially segregated areas and forcibly removed people from neighborhoods reserved for white people. From 1950 until 1983, one of the largest mass removals in modern history took place. Here in Cape Town, District 6, where I currently am, had been a booming area in the heart of the city with more than 60,000 colored residents. But in the 70s, the government bulldozed their homes and forced them into windswept housing projects on the Cape Flats, far from the city center. Apartheid dictated where people could live and move about. Africans were issued a pass or an ID document stating where they could live and work. They would be arrested if police found them in a white neighborhood not designated as their place of employment. The system was used to bar most Africans from moving to the city in search of jobs. Instead, they were confined to living in 3 blighted townships. In the 80s, hundreds of thousands began moving to the periphery of the city, building shacks and informal settlements. The legacy of that migration remains today in poor townships like this one. Part of apartheid's divide and rule scheme was to give coloreds priority over Black Africans for jobs and housing. But coloreds were also systematically displaced at the expense of whites. And today, the white minority continues to live near the city center and in lush suburbs like this one. And the inequality isn't limited to neighborhoods. Under apartheid, Cape Town's more exclusive Atlantic coast beaches like this one used to prohibit Blacks. Whites enjoyed their own beaches like these, while Blacks and coloreds had their own beaches which looked like this. Today, beachfront areas like Camps Bay still cater to mostly whites. But now it's all about who can afford the nice restaurants and shops. It's this kind of unspoken disparity that continues to permeate Cape Town society. Studies by local researchers have found that Black Africans are almost always less successful than white people in moving up career paths in Cape Town, a phenomenon labeled the ebony ceiling effect. The inequality here is so stark that Cape Town's Gini index, which economists use to measure inequality, is 63 out of 100. That's one of the highest in the world. So why has Cape Town failed to deliver a better life for all since the end of apartheid? Some blame Cape Town's governance. Cape Town rests within the province of the Western Cape, which is the only one of South Africa's 9 provinces not run by the governing African National Congress. That's the anti-apartheid party of Nelson Mandela. Instead, it's run by the Democratic Alliance, which grew out of white liberal establishment politics, but includes remnants of the old National Party and black middle-class support. The Democratic Alliance dismisses any claims that Cape Town remains racist, but it's hard to deny the structural segregation and discrimination that still exists, even if it is more subtle than it was under apartheid. Now that Cape Town grapples with a water crisis the world has never seen, the stark disparity between the haves and have-nots is on full display. Many black Cape Townians have always lived without running water. Now, others in Cape Town are getting a glimpse into that experience as they line up to collect a ration of water. But what about everything else? Will the dream of a truly equitable society ever become reality here? Hey guys, it's Dina in the township of Imizamayetu. Be sure to check out our next video that looks at Cape Town's water crisis and how it's affecting everyone, and follow this page direct from for more videos.